Hi, and welcome to the Exceptional Average. Today, I have a so casual talk for you. Oh my God, I just finished the recording and it's amazing. The guest, Miki, is a graphic designer with amazing experience in graphic design. We talked a lot about tools, a lot about tips. He's also a teacher, so he described what is important when you are creating whatever trainings, even online or in the classroom. And his tips on Midjourney, tips on AI video and so on were, I think, very useful. And I enjoyed this conversation so much because I feel the pain from my point of view because, I'm not a graphic designer myself, but I use graphic design tools all the time. And when you hear someone who has 15 years of experience in graphic design telling you very similar things, it's just, warms up your heart. So I really enjoyed this one. And I think you will probably do this as well. So enjoy listening. And yeah, welcome to the Exceptional Average podcast. My name is Jan and I am your host. Ciao.
The biggest problem that I always had and why I couldn't start my Instagram account earlier was the graphics part. As a graphics designer, that might sound weird, but before AI, creating graphics for posts took quite a bit of time. And also looking for stock photos or making the photos myself or something like that, and then fixing them up in Photoshop, etc., etc. It just took a whole lot of time. I don't think we should have this mentality that AI is going to replace us or take away our jobs or that kind of thinking. Well, yes, obviously there are some jobs, some positions that are, well, they're kind of destined to be replaced, but it's definitely not all of them. But if we look back in history, we had like people that knew Morse code and could send telegraphs, and that was an extremely popular job. And do you know anyone who has that job today? Well, no, it changed, it evolved. So that's the same thing with AI now.
Hi, and welcome to the Exceptional Average podcast. My name is Jan, and this is my host, Miki, already waving to you. Hi, Miki.
Aren't you the host? I'm the guest. Yes, hi, I'm Mikołaj, but it's so much easier to just call me Mickey, as everyone calls me. Mickey like Mickey Mouse. And glad to be here.
Hi and welcome. So Miki or Mikołaj is the full name, but as you say, for the podcast recording purposes, I will call you Miki, and this is how your brand is actually called, Miki
Yes,
Robi AI, or in English, Miki does AI. We will come to
exactly.
that one very soon. But first, Miki, can you tell us what you actually do for a living and what's your connection to AI?
Sure. A short little history is I started as a graphics designer, so all my papers and studies is in graphics design. I spent a couple of years as a graphics designer, but kind of quickly got tired of making logos bigger and making it more pop and making it well. So I kind of started going more into UX design and more into HTML. And actually, as a programmer is where I spent most of my career. So I've been a front-end developer for, well, over 15 years-ish, something like that. And yeah, the design part, the UX part has always been like a hobby for me. I like a nice place where I can just explore while not coding, because sometimes you need a break from coding. But right now, I'm actually a brand manager at the company that I'm working for. So a brand manager is pretty much doing all of the graphics, all of the UX, and also some of the coding for the website. And most recently, I've actually also been upgraded to AI specialist. So I'm going to be actually helping my entire company grow with AI. So I'm going to be looking for tools that can help in coding, in operations, in tasks, in performance, and in general, anything that can boost the efficiency. So I'm like kind of doggy Doge in our company. So I have to build a department of developer efficiency, of like company efficiency. So yes, that's where I am right now. Really going deep into AI.
So first of all, Miki, to everybody who is listening from your company, I tell you, raise his salary, please. For those positions and responsibility, he needs to be paid actually quadruple, not even double. So
That would be nice.
that would be nice, and I will push it from here. So, and Miki, you are also a person I am actually not stalking, but observing on Instagram as well. If everybody who is listening, go and find Miki Robi AI. I will put the link later into the description, so you can just click on it. Your content is actually pretty much amazing. I actually like the visuals. I like the strategy and the structure you actually created, and that's connected to this designer background you have. But
Mm-hmm.
how it actually all started? Like, why design?
Yes. About the Instagram account that I have, this was actually my like dream for many years. Well, along with my career, I've also been teaching mostly HTML in the school of graphics design here in Krakow. And well, actually, LinkedIn told me last like month or something that it's been 10 years already. I'm like, okay, well, didn't know that. But yeah, I always had some kind of form of teaching in me, and I've always wanted a Instagram account that would be a place where I could store all of my like knowledge and just share with people. Well, everything from UI, UX, and the graphics world, and sometimes also the programming world. But yeah, this is actually where AI comes in. The biggest problem
Mhm.
that I always had and why I couldn't start my Instagram account earlier it was the graphics part. As a graphics designer, that might sound weird, but yeah, before AI, creating graphics for posts took quite a bit of time, and also looking for stock photos or making the photos myself or something like that, and then fixing them up in Photoshop, etc., etc. It just took a whole lot of time. So when Midjourney dropped, and I actually got onto Midjourney a little bit late, so around version 4. So that was like the maybe breaking point of Midjourney when it started actually making nice images. Uh, that's when I saw the potential that I can use AI to generate like the small little icons, the little the photos, or yeah, just in general the graphics that I need for my posts. And yeah, that was actually amazing. It was groundbreaking because it meant that I could just focus on the knowledge, focus on the words that I wanted to say, and I didn't have to worry about the graphics part because yeah, I just spend way less time creating these slides for my carousels on
Mhm.
Instagram. So yeah, without AI, I wouldn't be here really.
And that's a nice way to put it. And to be honest, actually, when I'm thinking to my start in digital marketing, I feel you, because I remember those days when I was going to Free Peak and there was this other side. I forgot the name, the black and white one with the stock photos.
Pexels
And
or Unsplash.
Unsplash, exactly, Unsplash. That was it. And I was trying to also download images. It took me a couple of hours sometimes to have one. And
Mm-hmm.
then when AI came, I remember those days. And I actually started with Midjourney around the same time as you. I remember Midjourney like being already quite big around the world. And the first images were not the worst one. I have to say that sometimes I like the version 4 better than version 6. Of course, the details are
Yeah,
different. But
sometimes it looked really nice,
but it
but
helped.
sometimes really plasticky.
Yeah, that's correct. It's still better than ChatGPT and DALI, in my
Yep,
opinion.
that's true.
uh, so we have your background. We know what you are doing, and you said Mid Journey. Like, is it the one tool you are using, only Mid Journey, or is there something else in your portfolio?
Well, it is my daily driver, for sure. I think I use Midjourney every day, or at least almost every day. I do take a look at what's happening in the background in at the rivals. I do think what Free Pick is doing is also really nice because they're taking a
Hmm.
kind of a different way with their like sketch to AI drawing, which is really good. Also take a look at what Adobe is doing, but for such a big company as Adobe, I think the quality of the well, at least the selection and generation that you can do in Photoshop nowadays, I kind of have this feeling that is not up to par with like the quality that Midjourney can do. So yeah, I'm up to date more or less with all of the other competition that Midjourney has, but I still think subjectively that Midjourney just gives the best results for me. And yeah, that's what I use pretty much every day.
And now it's a small time for a commercial break. Miki has a really cool tool on his site where you can actually just upload an image and it will create a pretty nice color palette for you with all the descriptions and all the hex codes and everything. So I will put the link again in the description. And that's something you created, right? That's something you called it when I know.
Yes. This is actually a side project that I've actually done quite a while ago, and I've retried it again when I created Miki Robi AI. It's actually a super simple tool, and even though this is all about AI, the tool itself is not really AI yet. Maybe I'll think of something in AI, but it's actually a bunch of nice JavaScript libraries, and what they do is just analyze the image. They pick out the dominant colors, and then with another library, it matches like hex codes to the nice names of colors, so you don't have like the ugly string with the 6 characters. And I just added a feature that it creates like this nice little grid of colors. Your image is in the background. So what it does is you can either upload your photo or a Midjourney image or any image actually, and it will scan the colors. Or if you're on a mobile device, you can even open up your Photos app and just do a live like photo, and it'll process the image that you create. So it's just a simple little tool that I use quite a bit. If I see something in the real world that has some nice color palettes or some nice tones, then I just flip out my own website and make a photo and save the color palette, which I sometimes use later on, or at least explore the general style of the colors.
And I have to say, I'm a big fan of this tool. I really like it. Sometimes I just need some kind of inspiration, and there are other tools, but when I can support my own, actually, let's say, colleague from a close relationship or business relationship, then I actually support you as well. And I like the design and how simple it is, what the result it gives you, right? The quality of the colors and the palette. And also, I know that you actually created a ebook which
Yes.
is about Midjourney, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that one as well? Because I think that it actually might help some people to learn and understand Midjourney in a better way.
Oh yes, definitely. I guess the ebook, the handbook, was pretty much the next phase. So after I started up the Instagram account, it started actually working. So one thing that I forgot to mention is that I also have a specific style, maybe we can call it, about teaching. Because when you think about school, when you think about teaching, you think about classic teachers that just go on monotone and just talk and talk and talk, and then you just don't know what's happening, and you need to go home and read books, and then you still don't know what's happening. So my style is more on the humorous side. So I try to make like the posts just be funny, or at least be relatable, or they also have a lot of examples, which I know people enjoy, because, well, I'm also a person like that. If you give me a documentation that I need to read from beginning to end, I'll get bored halfway and just not know anything from this documentation. But if you show me like an example, oh, you can use this way or that way or this way on real examples, that's when like light bulbs start popping up in my head, and that's the style that I try to do on my Instagram, on my website, to do like this show or do like this humorous little comedy slide, but also have the raw content, the actual knowledge baked inside it. So that's when I decided. Oh yes, with Midjourney. So there was actually a workshop in Krakow that I joined for Midjourney. Well, actually, my boss told me to go and explore the workshops. Uh, and yeah, the night before, I decided, well, I can't go in to this Midjourney workshop and not know anything about Midjourney. So just like Iron Man, I decided to do a doctorate of Midjourney the night before the workshops. And yeah, I landed on the workshops and they started. And well, actually, to be honest, the workshops were one of those where, yeah, here's Midjourney, get into groups, have a bit of fun with it. And I was like, man, I want to learn, not just have fun with people on Midjourney. So there even was a situation where they were doing like batches of images in Midjourney. And I'm like, wait, there's a special function that does permutations and batches in Midjourney. And the host of the workshop was like, "Oh wow, I didn't even know that." So, and that was like the moment where I was like, "Damn, I've got some skills with teaching. Why don't I also try and create something that people can learn from?" And yeah, I guess the first step was to create a PDF, an ebook, which would just say everything that there is about Midjourney, and also baked in with a whole lot of examples and prompts and exactly what to do to get the effect. So yeah, and after that, I started considering like B2B workshops of my own, and just workshops for the students that I also have at the School of Graphics. So it just started rolling from there.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty interesting. I have my background. I spent a couple of years in a corporation in learning and development department, and I can tell you, I totally understand. I made dozens and probably hundreds of workshops where the people need to be engaged, right? They cannot be bored with content, so it must be funny, it must be interactive, and also they must learn
Mm-hmm.
something new. So I totally get your point of view here. And when you say Midjourney, and when we talk about design, like how do you see AI stealing content and our creativity?
Oh, with creativity, I don't actually think something like that exists. So AI works in a way that it just mashes up things from other places that it saw or what it has in its model. So sometimes it can get lucky and can create something that seems creative, but it's always going to be something that's connected with things that it already knew, with content
Hmm.
or data that was already in its model. So like true creativity, I don't think is really possible with AI. Maybe, well, definitely not right now. Maybe one day, but still, I think that the human factor is extremely important. That yeah, sure, you can try and make a mashup or something that exists and it
Hmm.
feels new, but it's not really going to be something truly creative or new like a human would do.
Hmm. And I also understand this one because I use Midjourney as well. Sometimes, I just want to get some inspiration, like for a new logo or some kind of idea, and I need to visualize it. And then I insert the prompt into Midjourney, and we will come soon into prompting itself. And the results are, first of all, getting boring. I have a feeling that it's actually the library is like empty already, and the ideas are not new. That's my personal feeling. And yes, the
Hmm.
quality, the pixels and so on, the functions, for example, upscaling the image or replicate the style is really really useful. But I have a feeling that it's not getting better in a way that it gives me better content or better like final image.
Yeah. So I think there's like two issues here, or two
Mm-hmm.
items that we can discuss. So, for example, for logos or for UI design, Midjourney and pretty much all of the other AI tools, they are really bad at this, and this is because logos and text and typography and UI and UX. This is actually technical stuff. You need
Mm-hmm.
to like know the rules. You need to know the grids. You need to know the golden ratio to help you, and so on. Visual balance, optical balance. There's like a whole list that I can go on. And I don't think the current AI models actually understand this. So even if
Mm-hmm.
you prompt like a UI for a website or something, it will not create something useful. It will just make a mashup of really pretty isometric, 45-degree images that you see on Behance or other portfolio sites. And that's not UI. So
Mm-hmm.
until the AI models actually understand the grid system or the principles of UX and all of that, they won't be able to produce quality images. So, as you said, for inspiration, for a logo or for a website, so you can get colors or something like that, it's perfectly
Mm-hmm.
fine. But it won't do it from A to Z. But on the other hand, photos, stock images, illustrations, sometimes icons, because icons are also like halfway,
Mm-hmm.
well, they're almost logos, so it's pretty much the same deal. But for photos and all of that, it works exceptionally well. So yeah, obviously there's sometimes errors where you get a sixth finger or something is really weird in the design or proportions are wrong. But that's just a temporary thing. I think version 7 or 8 of Midjourney will really fix this. And yeah, so on the one
Mm-hmm.
side, graphics like photos are really good right now, and you can also use them as inspiration to create your own photos. Uh, I've also seen like a YouTube video where this team of really high and professional photographers create like an AI image and then try and recreate it with actual real tools. And they show the whole process. And that was actually super nice to see that yeah, you can see how much work goes into creating a
Mm-hmm.
real photo of the same style that like Midjourney could create. But yeah, I'm also waiting for the like logos and UI to be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that because it's a more technical issue, it's going to take a longer time to accomplish.
Mhm. And do you think we can teach AI so we can, for example, create a library of all the styles, all the grids, thirds and frames and so on, and just put it into, for example, a model, then connect a OpenAI API or Claude API, and then just create one exceptional tool which will be for logos, or that's not possible?
Maybe. I recently saw a presentation of a new AI that ingested like all of the design frameworks, like material design and Bootstrap and all of those that we know from programming, and it can compile components for like select boxes or like UI components or UX components. And in the most part, what they showed in the video was actually pretty nice. But again, we go back to the creativity question.
Hmm.
So it just saw a whole lot of components from other design libraries or design systems, and it's just trying to make a mashup of it. So question is this enough for someone, or do we need just more I don't know, creativity or
Hmm.
more human touch for these AIs? We'll see.
Hmm. Yeah, we will see. Exactly. And now going to the prompts. When I started with AI, everything was about prompt engineering. I had to understand how it works, how it actually reads, whatever. Now I like to actually go to Midjourney and just hit slash and then describe this image to me, so I can
Hmm.
understand how does it actually understand the image. But I have a feeling that my prompts actually are getting shorter, more concrete, and the
Hmm.
results are getting better. The more complicated the prompt is, the harder it is actually for AI model to understand, be it ChatGPT or Claude. Also, I see a big potential in the conversational AI, right? When you have now the update on ChatGPT and also Claude, when you can just speak to it and you have this advanced
Hmm.
voice model. And with Midjourney, as I say, I have a feeling that the prompts are not important as they were before. The more important is the structure, like what you put behind, for example, AR or sref functions, right? And then
Hmm.
just short description of what you actually want to create. What do you think about prompting in Midjourney?
Yes. Well, in general, text prompting for design stuff, it shouldn't exist. Because this is not natural. I don't know about other designers, but I see something in my head. I do not know which words to use to make the thing in my head appear on my screen. That just doesn't work. But if that's why I'm looking at a free pick and the sketching tool. If I could make a rough sketch of what I have in my head, because that I can do, and then
Mhm.
tell Midjourney or any other AI that I want it in this style to look like this, then that is the way to go. So I'm really happy that the guys from Midjourney are actually working on some kind of a sketching tool. They are also mentioning the orb or like the 3D space that they want to create. So um, you won't really, the first step won't be prompting with text. You'll first have like this world builder where you'll
Mhm.
have like a character in the middle of the screen. It's like this 3D space. You can pose your guy or your character any way you want. Get that right. Then you can set like the lighting, you can set like the scene, and then you pass on the prompt and tell it what it should fill with. So that is actually a very nice idea,
Mhm.
and anything that will help not use text, which is really hard to to do right for designing, will be great. So either some kind of a sketch technology or like the 3D space technology, which they are thinking about. That sounds really good because a text prompt is really hard. Um, so in my experience, I've tried super short prompts for Midjourney, and I've tried super long prompts with
Mhm. Mhm.
Midjourney. And indeed, the longer the prompt you make, the more it starts to lose focus and starts to miss parts of the prompt in the actual image. So it's actually like this balance where you have to give enough details so that you're satisfied, but also that the AI model isn't overwhelmed with how much stuff it has to do. But I also think this is a matter of time. So, for example, the classic problem with too many faces. So, if you want to generate in Midjourney a soccer team or a football team, you'll have one or two faces that are nice, and the rest of the faces will be, well, yeah, Shrek is pretty uh, compared to the faces that you can get. But I know that Midjourney is definitely working on that. And even in the new update, the 6.1 update, it's a little bit better. But I've also noticed that it just copy pastes the same face onto each of the players' heads, which isn't exactly what I want. So lots of details, lots of things is still a problem in AI. And yeah, there's workarounds. Obviously, you can like generate just a part and then use like the panning tools and the cropping
Mhm.
tools to just expand more and more of the image and just let the AI focus on small parts of your image. But yeah, some people like that. For me, it's a little bit frustrating to just keep going back and forth and adding details. So I do kind of hope for an option where you'll be able to make a longer prompt or at least get better result when you have a lot of things that you want in your post, in your prompt or in your image actually. But one thing that I did notice is sometimes if I'm not getting nice results from the prompts that I'm making, I actually ask Claude or GPT to create a prompt for Midjourney for me, and most of the time it actually is pretty good. So AI talking to AI kind of makes sense. So so they know what they're talking about.
I just wanted to ask you about that one because I'm also using my Claude to create mid-journey prompts. Sometimes it works, as you say. Sometimes it's far away from the, from what I want, but it's actually give me hints like what words can I use.
Yes.
Those are the ones like how to make an idea into some visual thing, right? How to create that visual part. So yeah, I use Claude as well. I just wanted to make sure if
So,
if you
so yeah, we're in this weird spot right now with AI because it's not really perfect yet. It's still changing. It's still in motion, and there's a lot of breaking changes most of the time. And obviously, every week or every day, there's actually a new update or something new or something fun that you can look at in AI. So it's actually hard to keep up with all of this. But yeah, mm, indeed, we'll see how this
Mhm.
progresses.
Yeah, definitely. And Miki, also one more question: do you use Midjourney on Discord or Midjourney the website?
Oh, I'm fully on the website. I haven't used
Fully on the
Discord
website.
for, yes, fully on the website. I haven't used the Discord version for a really long time.
So I should jump to website as well because I'm still on Discord.
I think so. Yes, there are a
Yeah.
couple of functions that are not available on the website version that are on Discord. For example, the video, which
Hmm.
records like the stages of it creating the image, which I kind of wanted, but I guess I can just record my screen as it does it on the website. But yeah, no. As soon as the like beta or alpha version came out, I don't remember which one
Hmm.
when I jumped on. But it was just so much better than using Discord. So I hardly ever
Hmm.
use. Well, no, not even hardly ever. I just don't use the Discord version for a really long time
Okay, so it's good that I asked.
now.
uh, Next question on my list: do you think that with everything you do currently as a brand manager, everything I do in digital marketing, like, do you think AI will take our jobs like in the next 5 years?
uh, Well, yeah, that's going to be hard to determine. But no, I don't think we should have this mentality that AI is going to replace us or take away our jobs or that kind of thinking. Well, yes, obviously there are some jobs, some positions that are well. They're kind of destined to be replaced, but it's definitely not all of them. But if we look back in history, we had like people that knew Morse code and could send telegraphs, and that was an
Mhm.
extremely popular job. And do you know anyone who has that job today? Well, no, it changed, it evolved. So that's the same thing with AI now. But I strongly believe that we should switch the mentality where AI is
Mhm.
a tool. It is something that helps us work better, work faster. So more of thinking collaboratively to cooperate with an AI. So he's my assistant. He can help me with this stuff. That way, just like for me with my Instagram account, I can focus on the text. I can focus
Mhm.
on making content while he handles images and sometimes it just checks my grammar and all of that. And that's the way I see it working. Same situation for development and for programming. If
Mhm.
I can just move on to this topic,
Yes, of course.
some time ago there was a huge like hype around Devin AI, which was like this magic tool, your magic developer that can do anything you want. Just type in your app and it will process it over an hour or so, and you'll have a ready application. Just put it on a server and it's done. Yeah, that didn't go too well. So not quite sure what's happening with Devon right now, but it's I haven't heard from them for a while. But I remember that even in our company, there were people that got a little bit frightened of this. That oh damn, so a programmer is not really needed anymore because there's like tools that can do this all from top to bottom, and so on. And even now, there are actual tools that do pretty well. So we have Bolt New, and we have the V0, and we have Cursor, Composer. All of these AIs can do a scaffold. They can build like the entry point of an app. You can, I don't know, create a Tetris game or a Snake game or a to-do app or something super simple. in a matter of minutes, and it works. And I've tested it, and it's perfectly fine. And you can put it on a server, and it will work. But in real situations, applications and websites are usually much bigger. There's a whole lot of logic. There's a whole lot of complexity between items, and I don't think that today's AI could handle a huge application like that. And that's why I'm going to come back to the cooperation part. So even me personally, as a developer, someone that can code, I don't want AI to do everything for me. I want to work with them. So I still want to write code, but it's nice if he like gives me auto suggestions like it does in Cursor. And it's just, I don't know how Cursor does it. It's like my main coding IDE now. It reads my mind some way because as soon as I start typing, it just pops up the autocomplete. Hey, do you want to type this in? I'm like, well, yes. And I just click tab. And I'm already thinking about the next line. I want to make, I don't know, some columns or a list. And he's like, oh, do you want a list here? I'm like, yes. Okay, tab and tab and tab. And that is actually super nice because I'm still in control. I know what I want to do, but this AI assistant is just a little butler that is just handing over the next tools that I need or the next like line of code, and it just works. And I feel very good about working with AI and in this like autocomplete kind of I'll help you along the way kind of style. But I'm not too sure about the AI just do it from top to bottom part because well, yeah, even in a different experiment that I was doing, so I'm not really that good in Node JS, and I had to do something in Node. And yeah, actually, this is also a topic that we're going to touch about seniority. So it started generating some Node code for me, and more or less it was fine. But at some point, I noticed something weird, and this is where like my earlier experience came into play. And that was like the point where AI started hallucinating, and it was I only had a feeling. I don't know Node that well, but I just had a feeling that something's not right here. So I just did a quick checkup in the documentation, and indeed, what he was suggesting was wrong, and this wasn't the place to do it. So that's why I'm not really trusting like an AI that will do everything from top to bottom. I much prefer that you still code, you're still doing your work, but you have like this assistant that helps you along the way. And I think this will help even in other jobs, like, I don't know, for example, in marketing, or if you want to create a new Google ad, you can start like your campaign and an AI bot could like suggest, oh, why not use these keywords? Or I have a couple of titles for you already, or do you want to generate some images and so on? And you keep doing your work, but you have this assistant that keeps giving you suggestions or autocomplete or something that just helps you along the way. And I think that sounds much nicer than AI doing everything and taking over my job.
Yeah, and I can understand why. And also you started to talk about seniority, right? That's for something to understand, as you said, with the Node.js. I have another example, right? For me to understand how a blog post is written, I had to write, I don't know, hundreds of blog posts in the past, right? So my whole journey started as a food blogger. So I was creating recipes. When ChatGPT came out, I did a test for the 3 months. I created only AI content and AI recipes. But to gain some credibility, I had to test that recipe to understand if it's really like if you can cook that dish simply, right? So I cooked one or two of them and then I stopped. Then I said, like, okay, this is not going well. I need to go back and check the content. So from the SEO point of view and the positioning, the content was like taking up, like I still have good results on my food blog. But if I would eat that dish, the first 2 or 3 ones,
Yeah.
definitely not. So I did some redirecting and the recreating of the recipes. But for that, I had to have some experience, right?
Yes,
So
or some knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. So what's happening now in the market and in the countries and in the world general, that people with experience have some leverage, right? You have some leverage, which is like 15 years of experience with graphic design, 10 years of experience as a teacher, right? I have some experience as a food blogger, digital marketer, and so on. But what is going on with the people who are now just finishing school, who will finish school in
Yes.
3 or 4 months? Like, what do you think will happen with them, those junior ones?
Well, poor guys.
Yeah.
When I started, or actually when I wanted to go into programming, all that was there was HTML and CSS and a little bit of JavaScript, and well, jQuery was also becoming popular. So I had to just learn three things, and I could pretty much do anything and find a job anywhere. The same goes for graphics design, actually. You mentioned like Unsplash and Pexels and all of that. When I was a graphic designer, there was no such thing. So stock images we had to buy from super expensive stock places or ask the client to get it. But usually the client sent something super low quality, and then you had to spend a whole day with your pen tool tracing out things that you want to cut out of your image. That was a pain. And now with like Unsplash and with Midjourney, for example, and all of the tools that you have in Photoshop that you can now, with a single click, remove a background or extract like the subject from an image. I would have killed for that as a youngster. So the tools make things a whole lot easier, but it's a whole lot harder to get into a career, really. So like I said, when I started programming, there were just three languages that I needed to know to get started. Now a front-end developer will need to or also know HTML and CSS, at least in some form. And then he has to pick a framework or start with just clean JavaScript, which would be the best option, but no one really does that. So you either go React or Angular or Vue or Svelte or all of the other frameworks that exist, and you need to learn all of that. And along with that, Git, and there's a whole lot of APIs now, and just other tools that you have to have in order for your website to work or for your app to work. So yeah, I think the transition from a junior to a media to a senior, the junior part is getting really long. So maybe similar to doctors, that they have to spend like 8 years learning and trying out and being in a mentorship of some kind before they can do an operation on their own or handle a patient on their own. I think something similar is happening now for juniors in programming, where there's just so much stuff that they need to know, or at least have some kind of idea about how it works before they can be left alone with a task or with an app or with some part of a website to do. But at the same time, now that we have AI, it can help them find answers. So back before AI was a thing, we just had to Google it and read Stack Overflow and Reddit posts and just find the answer, which sometimes worked, sometimes didn't. Now it's super convenient to just ask an AI to figure out what's wrong with the code or suggest how to fix it, refactor it, how to build it, and so on. But with that being said, we go back to my example with Node, where sometimes there will be something wrong with what AI suggests, or it won't match the coding style that you have in the rest of the app, or it will use a plugin or a library or a tool that you don't have or you don't need, or you use a different one on your application. And yeah, I guess that's where the seniority comes in, where you'll notice this, that, okay, the AI generated nice piece of code. 80% of it is fine, but we need to tweak a couple of things or push AI into the right direction by telling him, okay, use this library, use this style, and so on and so on. So what I think might happen is that, well, yeah, juniors will have a bit of a hard time, but also will have an easier time because they can also query AI for answers. But I think we need to do a bit more mentorship, maybe. So
Hmm.
a lot more cooperation with juniors and seniors. So the seniors show the moments where AI hallucinates or where they have a better idea based solely on like experience or past experiences that they had. And yeah, it'll just take a little bit longer for juniors to really start being left alone with tasks.
Hmm. And I was just thinking about the theory of 10,000 hours, right? That you need to do something for 10,000 hours in order to get really good in it. And that was a time frame around 10 years. So you are able to do it if you want to like play tennis or code or whatever. So
Hmm.
I have a feeling and understanding that in that simply the juniors or the people who are just now entering the marketplace or workplace, they simply need to actually fit those 10,000 hours within not 10 years, but within 1 or 2 years. So they need to work their ass off 20 hours per day almost to actually get some advantage. And also, AI can help definitely. And that's my second part of the question. Like, I see that, for example, a junior with the right mindset can overtake, for example, a company of 20 people because they can have older mindset, right? So they can do things like in a
Hmm.
dinosaur way. And this is what I also see in digital marketing, that sometimes the small agencies, which are actually very fast in development and they are testing tools, we do that as well, or I do that as well, can sometimes compete with much bigger companies.
Yes, yes, that is true. I mean, just look at Journey or Claude. Both of these companies are actually still pretty small, you could say. Midjourney, I think the team that actually built the first Midjourney models was like 7 people or something like that, maybe even less. I don't remember the amount now. But yeah, you can make really big things with small amounts of people nowadays. And yes, I do agree with what you say that someone who gets really involved in AI and understands that it's a tool that can help him automate something or just do something quicker, spend less time on like manual boring stuff and focus on like the actual problems to solve the more complex things, or as designers on your personal real actual paintings or just physical art instead of spending hours with your pen tool tracing out images in Photoshop. So I totally agree.
Hmm. And what do you think about AI and video generation? Because we talked about graphics, we talked about prompting and general Claude, but there is also a
Hmm.
big boom. I see that in AI video generation. For
Yes, it's
example,
coming.
Coca-Cola advertising.
It's definitely coming. I'm super excited for Mid-Journey video, but unfortunately, they have pushed the deadline. So I think the last office hours that they had, they said that unfortunately the video models are not going as planned. So it's not going to be anytime soon. Well, at least not in the next half year. So that's a little bit sad. I test. I'm really waiting for a video because that's like the last thing that I need for my puzzle of graphics tools. But unfortunately, it's still not there. So Runway ML
Hmm.
is doing really well, but still not super great. There's Pika, there's Luma Labs, there's LTX Studio, there's a whole load of these. AI video tools, but all of them have the same problem with weird morphing and it's just bad video. So I have a couple of examples. I have one prompt that I use in every single video generator, which is a whale that comes out of the water, like an aerial photo or video, and some of them are so bad that that I have no idea what the video model is trying to do. Uh, so we also saw Sora from
Hmm.
OpenAI, which seemed to be super nice, but yeah, they're keeping it still behind closed doors. They said that it's about like privacy issues and
Hmm.
to make sure that people won't use video in like bad ways. Because, well, yeah, an image like we saw the images of the Pope in Balenciaga or Trump being arrested. Well, if someone just took a closer look at the images, then he'll notice that it's fake, that it's just something to have a laugh at and just
Hmm.
and ignore. But video is different. If you actually see footage of, I don't know, Trump being arrested, then that could actually spark some opinions or action
Hmm.
in people. So indeed, I do agree that they need to address this from this side, so it's safe to use. But yeah, none of the video AIs right now are well. The ones that allow image to video
Hmm.
are okay. So in Luma Labs, I believe, and in Runway,
Hmm.
I've uploaded images from Midjourney that get animated, and they look okay because they have like the base of the image, and they just need to do like an effect. But yeah, from a text to video or video to video, it's getting there. Maybe
Hmm.
next year or in a year, actually, we'll see some video models that are actually good and worthy of putting on social media, for example.
Yeah, definitely. Because so far, about the Sora, I just heard recently, like 2 days ago, that they actually stopped Sora from being open even for the testers because there was some leak. So
Yeah.
somebody leaked the access, some testers and and actually OpenAI decided to stop it fully, like completely. They don't want to, give access to anyone around.
Hmm.
So that's the latest thing. And when it comes to AI video, uh, again, Coca-Cola advertising, right? The last Christmas ads of Coca-Cola. Yeah, for someone who has some kind of level of emotional intelligence and you can perceive what you see like in emotionally, you see that it's fake
Hmm.
because it lacks the emotions in the for me Coca-Cola was always about like warmth and Christmas and families together, friends together, and
Yes.
so on. And now we
And the
have some
Coca-Cola truck.
uh yeah, exactly, Coca-Cola truck which is sparking in a different way than it used to. So you can see that it's fake and it gives you nothing actually. Yeah, nice watch. We can talk about it on a podcast, but if it will sell more Coca-Colas, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, luckily there isn't that much advertising with video yet. There is also a couple that I've seen in TV, which are really blatant AI, really static models. You can see it's just bobbing their heads around, so it doesn't look great. But yeah, you mentioned Coca-Cola, and it's from a branding perspective, they are actually really on a different level. Well, there's actually a couple of companies that do this because notice that in Coca-Cola ads, they never say that it's a drink or it's a soda or
Hmm.
they never sell the product. They
Hmm.
sell you the emotions around it so that you can spend time with your family or your friends, or you can meet someone or something like they share a Coke. And the thing with the names on the Coke bottles was also really nice. And yeah, that's like branding level max. That's where you want to be. And yeah, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to get to that level. And yeah, that's something that sometimes clients want like from day one, which is almost impossible to do. Or there's clients that will say that no, but how? I need to tell people about my hammer because it's a magic hammer and it hammers stuff. So yeah, in terms of branding, Coca-Cola really does it well.
Does it well, exactly. And when you said that you have seen advertising in TV, I'm not sure, but my suspicion is 99%. eToro is like this virtual cyber money, Bitcoin, and
Hmm.
stocks application. So eToro, they had advertising in the TV, which in my opinion really is AI generated as as it can get. And the worst thing is that they probably use Midjourney for creating in the images, and then actually, in a runway
Yeah,
ML, they
most
actually
probably.
make it move. Because the thing is, when the commercial ended ended with a guy in a gray hair, like really nice white male, European kind of
Hmm.
stuff. And I said, like, okay, I probably know this guy. Like, how come I can know this guy? But it sometimes happens that when you generate a lot of images in Midjourney or whatever AI
Yes.
tool, they get repetitive. So the face I saw in the commercial was very much close to the face I created a couple of weeks back for my other project.
Yes, exactly. If you don't add like any special facial features or something unique to your person, then Midjourney really does take out of the general bucket and just does it. I think it's easiest to see in ginger girls, so redhead
Mhm.
girls. I think Midjourney, just all of them have exactly the same face, the exact same smile, and yeah, whenever I see like a photo of like a redhead girl, it's like, oh man, this girl again.
This girl again, exactly. And there is this AI influencer like Fit
Yeah,
Aitana. I spoke about it on my
yeah.
podcast one day. Then they probably have like more than 200,000 followers. So the agency is making hell of a money out of that one, and it was the first AI influencer on Instagram. So,
Yes, and that is actually a bit scary, but
mhm.
also actually kind of nice because, for example, even for me, if I have a bad day or it's raining outside or I don't have good lighting or something, and I can't create like a video or reels or something that I want to do, then why not have this backup avatar that would handle situations like that when I don't know I'm sick or I'm on vacation, but I need to create some content or do something. Then it can step in and just take over. But yeah, for now, I think it's still for me a little bit creepy and not that that useful.
Yeah, definitely. And with your experience, right, in a graphic designer, you can already spot all those mistakes. Just looking at
Exactly.
my list, I think we covered everything, and I must say I really enjoyed this conversation. It was really beneficial for me as well to learn new things,
Hmm.
to hear your opinion, and also just talk about AI and stuff in general and stuff I like actually. Graphic design. I never actually was born as a graphic designer, but I also play around with the tools, so I'm testing
Yes,
them a lot.
it's a
So
big
thank you
part
very
of
much.
marketing, right?
Yeah, it is. It is actually, yeah. But on the other side, I am actually now like funneling the tools. So in the past, I tried to test everything. And that's probably my last
Yes.
question to you as well. That I tried like to test 5, 6 tools per day, then record the video, then try to put it on online and so on. But when I finished, the tool was either updated or gone because it
Hmm.
was like the timeline of the tool was 24 hours and then it disappeared, or it was a scam, as you say, with the
Yes.
development application. So how do you stay up to date and how do you decide what makes sense when it comes to AI?
I don't.
Okay.
It's there's just as you said, there is just too much of this, and indeed, now with my new position as the inspector of AI tools that could boost the productivity, I'm going to have a whole lot more of this.
Mhm.
But yes, it is really hard to keep up with the trends. And even when I posted like a post last week, you commented even on it that, oh, did you know this? And I'm like, no. So even if it happens for me that I create a post and it's already outdated, which well, yeah, that's just how it goes. So I think similar to what you said, I have my like top picks for now. So
Mhm.
I use Claude because I prefer it over ChatGPT, even though it
Mhm.
doesn't have all of the functions. But I have like this feeling that that I think Claude is where I want to be. So that's where I am. Same goes for Midjourney. I do sometimes test like let's say once a month or twice a month to just see what's happening on FreePic or
Mhm.
if there's like some news like Canva buying Leonardo and all of that. So I just see what's happening. But yeah, for Midjourney, I feel that that's the place. And yeah, just making this little catalog of things that I feel confident using. And I just stay up to date with that tool. And as soon as something big happens in the other tools, that's when I try it, see if it's happening,
Mhm.
because yeah, I just think it's really hard to keep track with all of the AI. Oh, and one other thing, because like last year, a year ago, something like that, there was a really big boom for AI tools, and there was like for copywriting, for marketing, for SEO, for pretty much anything that could have been AI-fied. It was AI-fied, but almost all of those tools are just ChatGPT underneath. They just
Hmm.
use the API that Open AI exposes. So, for example, HubSpot, an amazing tool for website hosting, marketing, and or just CRM, everything pretty much that you want to do in sales marketing. Uh, Pretty much all of the tools that they offer. So, like expanding text or refining text or adding images or adding speech to your blog posts within HubSpot. All of that is just the basic API that you get from OpenAI. So there is a whole lot of mini tools that are built upon OpenAI, and I don't really think they'll get far because,
Hmm.
well, yeah, like the master behind it is OpenAI. So when they create something, then they can also create something. I much prefer to take a look at tools that are actually unique, that bring something
Hmm.
new to the table, or have their own LLM, or they have their own model, or have their own
Hmm.
idea on how to do things, instead of just another copy paste of OpenAI that changes text into something else. Which kind of leads me to one of the case studies that I wanted to share
Hmm.
about the chatbot. One thing that I'm working on is a chatbot for my website. So pretty much like ChatGPT, just that it answers questions based on posts from my website. And this is pretty much something that everybody's looking for. They want to dump a database of knowledge and have the chatbot just reply with content from their
Hmm.
database, not some random database or random information from Google or from the internet. And one thing that is super nice is that this is becoming super easy. So even I was able to set it up with, well, some assistance from AI. But Raggy AI is what I'm using underneath. So it handles the upload of files. So I just give him all of my content. It creates all the magic vector databases and everything that you need for AI to work. And I have a Claude API underneath that actually does the whole prompting and the talking with AI. And yeah, you just need these two libraries connected together along with my website, and I can pass data that the RAG application brings back the content that I want based on my context, not any external context.
Hmm.
So that was a fun experiment, which turned out to be much easier to do than I expected. And if there's already tools like Raggy that help you with like the context part, and there's APIs to Claude and to OpenAI and all of that, it is becoming really easy to create AI applications. So I think next year and the year after will be really heavy on some really nice SaaS tools, some services with AI APIs that will just help people build new AI applications. And I think that's also what we want as developers. Because yeah, sure, we can write our own models or create like Python apps that are AI. But I think secretly all devs are waiting for a framework like React or Vue or jQuery that will just handle everything, and we just use the API. And create apps without thinking about the hard stuff that AI does. So all of the calculations, the vector databases, and all of the magic numbers that happens in the background.
So, and Miki, is there anything else you would like to say? Any other case study you have?
Yes, actually, I have this one case which really shows like the value of Midjourney or in general AI, how it can help you in your day-to-day life. So I have this friend. I really like him. He's a really good business guy, you could say. He has a business idea almost every month, and he wants to start a new startup or a new business almost
Oh,
every
I
month.
feel that.
And almost every month, I need to do like graphics for him or a logo for him or something that he needs. So his most recent idea is he wants to create. He wanted a mascot for his product. So it's a children's product, and he just wanted like a nice little, like Pokemon style kind of a little mascot, little figure. And yeah, I just whipped out my iPad, started drawing, took a couple of hours. I vectorized it, colored it in, everything, sent it over to him. And he was so fascinated by this illustration. He said, wow, this is amazing. We need to make the next Pokemon out of this. Can you make 160 more of these characters? And I was like, how much? And so the first one that I did is like 100%. I just drew it out of my head, made the idea, and created it. And now this guy wants 160 characters. And how am I going to do this? So I actually panicked in the first moment, and then I was like, "Hey, wait! I have Midjourney." So what I did, because I didn't want to just copy paste exactly from Midjourney the like characters or like the children's like figures. So what I did is started generating a couple of these like characters, and for example, in one of the generations, I like the legs, and in a different generation, I like the eyes or like the head. And what I did is like screenshotted parts of these
Mhm.
generations, put them onto my iPad, and just traced around all of these characters. And that way, I was able, within a week, to make I think 32
Mhm.
of the characters, which was already a lot, and it was actually enough to start. So this startup is already running, and we're trying to get into stores now. We're trying to manufacture like the little figurines and maybe some plushies with these illustrations. And yeah, this is like another perfect example of how Midjourney inspired me or helped me. Using cut and
Mhm.
paste, copying some parts here, tracing some of this, tracing some of that to create end products. But it's still like my work, because in the end of the
Mhm.
day, it's not like one to one from Midjourney. I still have to draw the lines. I have to create in my style, in my way of drawing. So it's still unique, but there is
Mhm.
a lot of help from Midjourney to help me just create a whole load of character designs. So yeah, a nice case study from real life.
Yeah, exactly. And when you say that your friend is actually having a monthly idea, I have the same. I call myself a generalist, which is, I can think about tens of projects per week, even not even month. But of course, not every one I can use or develop or sponsor, right? So because it's all about financing as well. But still, Mickey, I have a question. When you say like you were able to create 32 those figures in 1 week,
Mhm.
like what do you think? How much time it would actually take you to create that manually without AI?
Manually? Well,
Mhm.
the first one took about a day, something like that.
Okay.
But I had already an idea in my head, so it was pretty simple to start on it. If I would have to, well, we can times this out. So it would be like 32 days as the minimum.
Mhm.
But yeah, at some point you start losing like creativity. You don't have ideas for the next character, or you start thinking about weird things. So yeah, I think it would have taken at least a quarter, 3 months maybe to get it from start to finish.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm super happy that I was able to do it a whole lot quicker. Yeah, the 2 weeks that I mentioned or the week that I mentioned was like for the base
Mhm.
illustrations, and like well, vectorizing and all of the stuff that I had to do around it took a little bit more time, but I already had the base like ready in a super short time.
Mhm. So I'm happy to see the results whenever they are ready. So just hit
Yes,
me a link
hope
and then I will add it.
hopefully next year we'll be in stores in Poland.
Okay, so it's actually a physical product, yeah? It's
Yes,
not
it's a
virtual
physical.
one.
Well, it's
Okay.
also going to have like a virtual part with like collecting cards that you'll
Hmm.
scan like codes, but you'll also have a physical toy product.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think this is a really nice way to close our chat or our podcast. So, Miki, thank you very much for being my host. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. It was so nice to be here.
Thank you. So,
Thank
bye.
you. Cheers.